FTMO has built a reputation as being one of the most respected prop firms in the entire world. They've paid out hundreds of millions of dollars to traders around the world. They've been around for many years, and they're often seen as the gold standard of prop firms. But recently, I have seen a wave of traders online in Discord, Twitter, and even YouTube talking and complaining about a potential hidden rule that FTMO has been enforcing. According to these traders, after they receive large payouts with FTMO, they receive an email saying that they are now restricted to risking only 1% per trade. And if they don't agree, they can receive a refund, but they can never use FTMO services ever again. Now, that's a big claim, and online there's a lot of confusion around it. So in this video, I want to break this down honestly. I'll show you exactly what FTMO's official rules say, what traders online are sharing, and finally the actual email that FTMO has been sending their clients, along with my thoughts on why this might not be the gotcha moment you think it is. Okay, so first things first, I want to take a look at what FTMO's official rules actually say, so that we can then dive in to see, well, is there actually something nefarious? Is there something hidden that's going on? Here I am on their US website, and you can see the rules are very straightforward. I'm on the show steps page. I'm on the overview phase. But if we go over to the show steps phase, because it's the same for all account sizes, the profit target on step 1 is 10% with a maximum daily loss of 5%, a maximum overall loss of 10%. They require 4 minimum trading days, and there is no longer a time limit on the challenge. I think FTMO was the last in the entire industry almost to remove time limits. So it's nice that they don't have that. But if we scroll over, because at face value, everything is very, very clear. The maximum loss and daily loss limit are the exact same across all phases, step 1, step 2, and the funded phase. If we scroll over to max loss, it just says the maximum loss during the FTMO challenge is set at 10% of the initial balance, very straightforward. And the max daily loss is 5% from the initial account balance. If we go to show more, again, it's very straightforward. It explains how it's calculated. It's measured in Central European time. It's very straightforward. And this is really all of the high-level overview rules that they have on their website. So there's no reference to anything about, that 1% risk per trade. But that's not necessarily a problem, right? A prop firm isn't going to be able to show every single rule on their homepage, on their main page. That's why there's an FAQ website, right? So again, I have no problem with this. Every trader that signs up for a prop firm challenge, whether it's with FTMO or Lark Funding, whatever firm it is, of course, you need to look at their FAQ website. So if we pop over to that, I have here their forbidden trading practices. So it's a fairly long article, which is, again, pretty standard risk management rules, rules regarding personal use of services. So if I just search 1% here, nothing comes up. There's nothing on their page of forbidden trading practices of 1%. If I put 1.5%, nothing. I don't know what else I could search to find that rule. There's nothing there that highlights that 1% risk. If we come back down here, risk management rules, they say, when performing simulated trades with us, you must not engage in practices which are not reasonably replicable in the actual market. That's totally fine. So they don't allow you to open a substantially larger position size compared to your other simulated trades. So you can't do like 0.1 lot, 0.1, 0.1, and then a 20 lot trade. Okay, I think that's reasonable. Opening a substantially smaller or larger number of positions compared to your other simulated trades, I think that's fine. Undertaking repeated simulated trading activity that results in higher risk per trade idea, thereby exposing your simulated account to cumulative exposure in a specific symbol or correlated symbols. Okay, so we break that down. Undertaking repeated simulated trading activity that results in higher risk per trade. Okay, so there's no number associated with this, but they're saying that undertaking repeated, so it's more than one trade, multiple trades that result in higher risk per trade idea, thereby exposing your simulated account to cumulative exposure in a specific symbol or correlated. So again, that's very broad, very vague. I think this one's probably connected to that 1 to 1.5% risk per trade idea. But again, there's no numbers there. So, this is under their forbidden trading practices, FAQ page. So, there's nothing really clearly defined right there. So if we do pop over to here, however, this seems to be a blog article, and it is titled, "How much should you risk on one trade?" So it's, I think, more of a broad, sort of blog post than it is specifically about the FTMO challenge. However, if you pop in 1%, there's actually a couple of things that do come up. It says here, in most discussions, articles, and tutorials, you will find information that a trader should not risk more than 1% of his account size on a single trade. Okay, so again, this is not saying on an FTMO account, it's a hard rule. You can't risk more than 1% per trade. It's just saying, in most discussions online, in most articles, most tutorials, 1%. If we come down here, why professionals don't use high risk on one trade. We can generally recommend to our FTMO traders not to risk more than 1% per trade idea to help them with adopting safe risk management principles. Generally recommend. So it's not it's not a strict rule. It's a general recommendation. So I understand as a prop firm owner myself, having rules in black and white can be difficult because at times there are gray zones. If you put a hard 1% risk per trade idea and a trader risks 1.2%, 1.4%, 1.5% on a single trade versus, they're risk managed on all the others, it's hard. It's hard to have every single rule be black and white, but this is the closest thing that I have found on FTMO's website regarding this 1% per trade idea. But again, it's a very soft, broad overview. Now, the reason that I'm going over this is because online, we have seen a lot of traders, especially recently, discuss this rule. So there's a whole bunch of screenshots here. If we start up at the top, this guy said, got 400K funded with FTMO. They put a risk per trade idea or trade area of 1%, absolute bad word there. Here we have another guy saying, this is recently, FTMO just slapped me with the 1% rule today, but I'm feeling nice and I want to do a little giveaway. Okay, so this guy got that 1% rule as well. If we come over here, it's a screenshot from somebody in the FTMO Discord. Somebody said, I usually use 0.3 lots on 10K and risk 1.5%, and I've never had a problem. The FTMO moderator says, in the same article, you can find the info as at FTMO, we actively monitor the activities of our traders and observe trends in how traders approach trading in general. We generally recommend risking up to 1 to 1.5% of the maximum drawdown on a 100K account. So this is a little bit wild because that's 1% of the maximum drawdown. Personally, I think this must be a typo from the FTMO moderator because, to risk such a little amount, right? $100 on a 100K account. I mean, you're talking 0.1% risk of the entire account size, which I've never seen anywhere, FTMO talk about that. So I think this must be an error. This guy says here, now tell me, when will someone pass the evaluation when you can only risk 0.5 or 0.15% max on a 100K account? So this has to be an error. But again, these are questions that traders are asking, and it's not always that clear. If we come over here, this is from Reddit. I did not expect this from FTMO. After I passed multiple challenges in short amount of time, they forced this 1% stop loss rule and so on. What is annoying is that when I was failing challenges with the same strategy, they did not care about risk management. But when I figured out how to make big profit, they called my strategy one-sided betting and forced this 1% rule. I thought I was a special one, but I've read lots of posts on comments on here about this and felt like I should share this too. I'm sure there are better firms available who stick to their contract rules and don't have to follow off the book rules when trader is profitable. Okay. We have another guy here, see 3 trades in one direction and they banned me, not fair without single warning. Okay. So I think there's actually one more over here. This was in Turkish, really a long post, but he's saying, he had all these accounts. When I checked my FTMO challenge, there was no trade history, I kept sending automated responses to my emails. All that to say, they said here, you took more than 1% risk, brush it off, and then they tell me either to start over the challenge level or take a refund and get banned from the company. And then he said, even if I get funded again, you'll find something else, so just give me my money back. And I still haven't gotten a response. So overall, you can see there's a good amount of traders that are complaining about this rule. But let's now move on to what FTMO has actually been saying themselves. There's several screenshots that have been shared online of the actual email that traders have received from FTMO. So here the email says, Dear Mohammed, we're contacting you with regard to the review of your account. On March 20th, we delivered the last notice to you regarding our concern with your usage of our services, namely one-sided bets when you agreed to limit your trade idea risk to 1%. So this is not the first email that they've sent to this client. They've already implemented that 1% risk per trade idea, which apparently this client agreed to. Unfortunately, the review highlighted once again a very aggressive trading style not in line with the agreed conditions on proper risk management standards. Below are a few examples of the trades of your account exceeding the agreed 1% threshold of risk per trade idea defined as per our notice. So 1.85% loss, 1.4% loss. As we explained to you before, our company was started to help aspiring traders willing to deploy appropriate risk management and a consistent system, not to enable an irresponsible approach to trading. For these reasons, the review for the account was not passed, and your account will not be advanced to the next stage. With the above being mentioned as a solution for your case, as an exceptional measure instead of the termination of the order, we intend to provide a fresh repeat. So they're giving a free of charge repeat. So it sounds like this is an FTMO challenge. It's not a funded account, which goes against one of the screenshots I shared above where they said, they were failing multiple challenges. FTMO didn't say anything. It was only once he got funded, but it doesn't look to be the case for this trader. Free of charge, together with the last reminder that the risk per trade idea on all of your accounts will need to be capped at 1% from this moment onwards on all current and future accounts, if any, as agreed already. In case you do not intend to accept our solution, we can exceptionally provide a refund for the current order and cease our cooperation permanently. This means that you would not be allowed to enroll in new evaluations. Please let us know how you wish to proceed, and in case you have further questions, best regards, Anita, FTMO. So this is the email that they're sending clients, which is really interesting. So to share my thoughts, because I've been running Lark Funding for over 3 years now. The brutal truth and honesty here is I have no problem with this, and traders who are risk managed also won't have a problem with this. This isn't a gotcha moment. This isn't, everyone's saying, oh, it's a scam. It's not. Okay, I absolutely believe FTMO when they said, we started our company to help aspiring traders willing to deploy appropriate risk management and a consistent system. I've said time and time again on this channel, there's two types of people that use prop firms. There's traders and there's gamblers. If you're trying to spend $5K on prop firm challenges to make $6K in payouts, okay, a lot of prop firms that are, worth their reputation are not going to want to work with you. And we saw that in 2024, every prop firm that allowed gamblers, that had super cheap challenges, that allowed these account flippers, they went out of business. Whereas FTMO has been around for a decade now, and they're clearly not allowing this type of trading style. And I have no problem with it at all. Everybody who's upset, who wants to risk 2% per trade, 3% per trade, listen, go to another prop firm, a prop firm that likely will eventually go out of business on a long enough time frame, a prop firm that will deny your payout. For traders that want to be risk managed, there's absolutely nothing wrong with risking 1% per trade. 1% per trade on a 100K account is plenty. On a 200K account, 300K, 400K account, it is a ton of money. So there's absolutely no problem with this in my eyes at all. The only caveat is I think perhaps it should be more clearly defined. Again, as a prop firm owner, I understand that when you explicitly state a rule, you're going to have fewer people sign up, but it's just better than kind of hiding it. So ultimately, I think the takeaway here is maybe the communication can be a little bit more clear, but there's no problem with having this rule. And I think for risk managed traders, it also isn't an issue. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you have an issue with this rule? I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace.